What's up you guys, welcome back and welcome if you're new. In today's video we're going to be upgrading my front brakes on my Tacoma. We're going to be going with power stop. We're going to show you guys the installation and I'm right here of course with Jerry. Make sure to check him out. He's going to be in the description box below. Let's go ahead and now get into the video and show you guys. Like we said, we're going to be installing the power stop brakes. We're going to be doing rotors, pads, and another cool thing is we're going to be doing the calipers as well. Reason why is because these are pretty worn out now, and not only that, these ones here are kind of when I had less weight on the truck. So the new ones we're installing today are for the weight. So it's going to help out a lot, especially when I'm going off-road and stuff like that. So let's show you guys exactly what I have, and then we'll get to the install. This was a big upgrade from what I have on the Tacoma currently, and it was a little bit more in my budget. I know there is different ones out there, different brands and stuff like that you can do to the Tacoma, but it does get pretty pricey. This one here is probably going to be the best kit for the money, so that's why I went with these. Another cool thing that I'm going to be upgrading today is what you could probably see right now in the video are going to be these calipers here. So this is just going to kind of, in my peace of mind, be a lot better. It's going to look cool because of course it's red. I believe this company you can choose it in different colors though. You can do gray, black, and I don't remember what else. You could always paint it if you don't like the color. I went with red just to kind of make it a little bit different and to stand out when it's installed, which you guys will see once we do it. But this is going to be awesome because I'm going to have everything fresh and brand new underneath the truck. So it's going to help of course with the stopping power. So if you see right here from Power Stop, these are going to be the pads. One thing to note though when purchasing these is there is two different ones. There's kind of like the regular one. If you guys don't have as much weight as me, you could choose that one. It's a lot cheaper. The ones that I do have right here today are of course the extreme pads. This one's going to be if you guys do have like a heavy truck or if you guys do tow a lot, because this is going to help with the stopping power. So like I said, when you guys are purchasing it, make sure to keep that in mind. There's two different options. This is the better option of course. It just costs a little bit more, but I would highly recommend just spending the money once. You'll be happy. And then of course what we have over here is going to be the rotors. Cool thing about this company is they actually label it for you because these are side specific. As you guys can see there, front driver side, so that's how I'll know that one's for that. Over here it's going to be front passenger side. So maybe down the road I'll go ahead and also do the rear brakes with this, the rear disc conversion, but we'll see. Just to show you guys really quick kind of what we're changing, basically the red thing that you guys saw in the previous clip, which is the caliper, we're going to be changing this out. So once again, there is different companies out there which you can go ahead and get bigger rotors, bigger pistons and stuff like that. As far as for me, I stuck kind of with the factory one. It's just kind of, it's going to be brand new and it's going to be in red. So these are going to come off. Of course the rotors we're going to be switching out. As you guys can see, it has a lot of hairlines on there and it's just making a lot of squeaking noise already. They do have a lot of miles, so that's why we're going to be changing them. And then of course the pads which are inside of there, that's also what we're going to be switching out. Super excited for it because once again the brand new ones from Power Stop are going to be helping out stopping this whole weight. And keep in mind right now I do have my roof rack off, I have my bed rack off, so right now it's a little on the lighter side than what it usually is. So before we kind of start showing you, this is going to be a lengthy process, and if you guys don't have the correct tools you might mess something up if you do this at home of course. That's why I always leave Jerry's information, so if you don't feel comfortable doing this, make sure to hit him up, let him know I sent you. His info's in the description box below. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and clamp down the brake line. As you guys can tell, we already did that. Reason we're doing that is just that way we don't lose any brake fluid, because if you don't clamp it down it's going to start leaking. Next thing from there, you're going to notice back here there's like this little line. So most people will probably go from there, but what we're going to be doing, since we're going to be keeping this here, if you guys do remember, we're going to be switching out this caliper. We're going to be removing it from here. So once we got that off, it'll be a little bit easier access to actually take off the caliper. There's still a couple more steps, but that's what we're going to be doing next. So once you've pulled that out, you should get a little bit of drops coming out. Just keep that in mind. Don't be scared. Now that we removed that line from there, like I said, you might get a couple drops coming out. Don't worry about that. So up next, what we're going to be doing is you're going to see there's a bolt that's right here and another bolt that's right up there. Those two are going to be a size 17 millimeter socket. You want to go ahead and remove those next. Keep in mind, this is only if you're going to be doing the calipers. If you're not doing calipers, you're just going to be doing pads and rotors. You can skip that step. Now that the caliper is off the truck, you're gonna notice on your rotor, if you're gonna be removing it, there's gonna be a little section here and a little section here. That's gonna be used to remove the rotor. If you try to take it out just like that, it's not gonna go. So what you're gonna need to do is find a bolt that goes in through there. I can't remember the thread pitch, but it's gonna be like a M6, M8, something like that. Just get one that fits, and which is something that we have handy here. And all you need to do is screw it in all the way, and it kind of loosens it, and then you do the same thing to the other side, and it'll pop right off. And as you guys can tell, it removes just like that. The reason they have that is because the rotor does sometimes end up resting onto this. So it kind of gets stuck on it, especially if you haven't changed out your brakes and rotors when they're supposed to be. It does kind of mold onto it. So keep that in mind. So right now I'm going to give you guys a side-by-side comparison on the calipers. So of course we have the old one here. This one right here is going to be the brand new one. So on this, there's not really a huge difference. Like I said, it's still a 2-piston caliper. Everything's almost about the same. Only difference is, for me, it's going to be peace of mind because this is brand new. And then of course it's going to be red versus the ugly gray black color, whatever it comes with. So one thing I did want to let you guys know is on the brand new calipers that you guys do get, you have to make sure to match them up with the old ones because they are side specific. So what I mean by that is when you grab your new one, you're going to see there's like this little nipple right here on the side, right there. You got to match it up to your factory one, which is right here. That's where that line that we took out that I said about the brake fluid, that's where that's going to go. So keep that in mind. That way you guys don't mix them up and mess anything up. So this one, I already know it's going to be the driver's side. And then of course, now we're going to be putting the new pads. As you guys can tell, there's no pads in there. This one does have pads, so that's what we're going to be doing onto that. Right now I'm going to show you kind of what we did here. It's pretty simple. If you guys have changed out brakes, you can go ahead and skip this. But in the baggie, you're going to get the provided kit. It's going to be for both the driver and the passenger side. One thing to note is the pads are side specific as well, so keep that in mind. You're going to have 2 of one and 2 of the other, and you're going to have to split it up, of course. So we're basically matching what's on here to this side. You're going to slide those in, and then after that there's going to be these pins that come inside the baggie. Once they're in there, you're going to slide it into the holes, and then on this side you're going to slide it slightly. There's also going to be this pin here. You want to go ahead and put the pin into this. It's going to slide into it all the way through, and then the pads should be sitting in their location. Once you do that, only difference between the factory ones and these brand new ones, on the brand new ones you're going to have a cotter pin on this side right here, which we've already slid in. And on the factory ones, it doesn't have that. It has like this long piece there. So just keep that in mind. To me personally, I feel like this is going to be a lot easier down the road as well to change out the pads versus this one, this big old thing. So now that that's all set up, we can go ahead and move on to the truck. One thing we did want to mention, if you guys aren't changing out your calipers, one thing you do need to notice is on the brake pads themselves, when you're putting the brand new ones in, you do have to compress the pistons. As you guys can tell, they are outwards. If you saw on the previous clip with the brand new ones that I just installed, the pistons were inwards. So that's why I wanted to explain that to you guys. So if you guys try to install it with them outwards like this, it's not going to work out. You're not going to be able to get them in, and you're going to struggle. So just make sure once you take out the pads, you want to go ahead and compress those pistons. So that's just one thing we wanted to let you know. One thing I did want to mention and that I forgot to tell you guys is make sure you grab this before installing the pads. You want to put this on the inside of the pads, just kind of rub it all over on all 4, of course, so for both sides. This is just some brake lube. Up to you if you want to put it, but it's recommended. I'd say do it. So now that we showed you guys on the caliper, now we're going to go ahead and put the rotors on. Once again, is make sure to check for the front driver's side. If you're doing the driver's side or passenger side, these are side specific. So all you literally do, just slide it right over, just like that. Super simple, nothing too hard. So now that we've slid over the caliper onto the rotor here, what you want to do when placing it is you want to make sure to give this brake line here 1 or 2 turns. So what we did is we first grabbed our bolts that won't go through here, which is with the size 17mm socket. Go ahead and give it a couple turns. Don't tighten these 2 down just yet. Leave it a little bit loose because you're going to need to kind of jiggle it around to go ahead and get this brake line into there. Like I said, then you give it 1 I'd say 2 to 3 turns. And then once you have that stable, now you can go ahead and torque this down, grab your size 17 millimeter. Once that's tightened down, then you could go ahead and go back up here to the brake line and tighten that down all the way as well. So of course you want to go ahead and get your torque wrench, torque those 2 bolts down. One thing I did want to let you guys know is before putting those in there, you want to go ahead and put some blue Loctite onto the actual bolt, and then you can go ahead and start the process there. Now that we've torqued everything down to spec, you want to go ahead and of course mark your bolts, so that way down the road you can go ahead and come back and check them, make sure nothing has moved. So now that we're done with that, up next we're going to go ahead and release the brake line here, and we're going to go ahead and let the fluids kind of drain in here, so that way we could go ahead and do the brake flush. Of course, the same steps that you did to this side, you want to do them to the opposite side as well. But let's go ahead and show you how it looks. So once again, the same steps you did here, you do it to the opposite side, but let's show you guys. So here's the brand new caliper. You don't need to do it, but I just wanted to do it just to have everything brand new underneath. So it looks really nice, and of course it's going to stand out when the wheel is on, so it's going to look really, really good. But everything's brand new pads, rotors. So everything's now torqued down, including unfortunately my spacers, which I've talked about those in a previous video why I have spacers, so don't say nothing bad, but I need these bad boys to run the wheels I have. So there it is. I'm going to go ahead and put the wheel on. We'll do the same steps to the other side. I know it wasn't a crazy in-depth video, but there it is. If you guys do want them, check them out, description box below. So now that I showed you guys how it looks, one thing I did want to let you know is if you guys are going to be doing the calipers like I did, you are going to have to do a mechanical flush and also a computer flush. So keep that in mind. If you guys are not doing the pistons and don't want to do a brake flush, that's up to you, of course. But for me, since we did do that, the brand new calipers, those don't come with fluid. So that's why we're going to be doing it. So once again, like I said, this is going to be a big upgrade for me, especially with all the weight on this truck and then having new fluid, new rotors, new pads, new pistons, just everything brand new for the brake system. I hope one day PowerStop can kind of help me out a little bit with the rears. We'll see in the future. Let's keep going. This isn't going to be like a real actual how to install in depth. We're just kind of going over the steps really quick. But keep in mind, when you guys are going to go ahead and flush out your system, you want to make sure to have someone inside to pump the brakes while you're outside over here bleeding them. And then once again, if you are doing the calipers, you have to use the computer for this. So for someone at home that's trying to do this, it's probably not going to work out because I highly doubt you're going to have a $10,000 computer. So keep that in mind when trying to accomplish this. So make sure to just hit up Jerry, get it done the right way first time, and you won't have to worry about a thing. You can go ahead and go out and enjoy your brand new brakes and rotors. All right, so right now we have Jerry inside. He's going to be the one pumping the brakes and of course using the computer system to go ahead and make this work out correctly. Right here, we're going to be, of course, bleeding them out. So right here, it's going to be a size 8 millimeter to go ahead and loosen that up. And then we're going to have a bottle here just so that way the fluid doesn't drop all the way on the floor. Can't wait to have this thing flushed out and just be pumping brakes like brand new. Don't forget, after you do everything, make sure to go ahead and check the levels, make sure it's all full, and you're good to go. Just finished everything up. We've done the mechanical part of it, which was bleeding it, you know, pumping the brakes and all that stuff. We also went inside, did it with the computer. Everything's now set up, so I could go ahead and enjoy these brand new brakes and rotors, and of course, the brand new calipers, which are now red. So if you guys do want it, once again, description box below. And then, of course, if you guys don't want to do this at home, which I don't recommend, go ahead and hit up Jerry. All his information is going to be in the description box below. If you guys did like today's video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. JesseRizo is here for you. It's here for you now. Like I said, it's super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.